Hey guys, Shawna Lewellen here, doing my first how to draw video just for fun. I'm going to do this as often as I can for you guys, for you kids, and for you adults like me that refuse to grow up. Yeah, there's no need to grow up. So anyways, we're going to actually use some normal supplies, just pencils, pens, nothing too fancy, just for fun. Today we're going to make a pickle mermaid. Yes, you heard it right, pickle mermaid, just for fun. So here we go. Kind of doing just a rough sketch with a pencil, and then going in with a marker so you guys can see it a little bit better. I do children's books, I do fine art for people all over the world, and this is actually one of my favorite things to do. So first, I'm going to make the top part of the pickle here, okay? And kind of just a long, kind of skinny shape circle at the top, half circle. And then we're going to make kind of, looks like almost a waistband around his waist, kind of a half circle here. And then going to make another long kind of half circle, another long half circle as we're making its tail. And I really thought that pickle mermaid was my idea, but turns out it's not. So when I do these crazy videos, I just like to make crazy fun characters that are just silly and fun. So we're going to have an arm, maybe waving, 3 hands, or 3 fingers on his hand, just because 5 fingers wouldn't be funny. And then another arm kind of hanging down, 3 fingers again. And kids, you can make these little lines, make it look like his arm is actually moving. So that's pretty cool. Those little tiny secrets that make it seem realistic on its tail. And you know what? I don't know if it's a girl or a boy. It's kind of hard to tell. Pickle mermaid, you can't really tell what it is. So anyways, we're going to make some lines going this way. Those are kind of hard to see. I can do that in a second with my marker. Some lines coming this way. And of course, we're going to make a big eye, a small eye, make a huge eyeball here, a tiny little eyeball here. You can erase those inside lines. Okay, and hopefully that's showing up pretty good on the film. And of course, I like to write the name of everything using a marker, nothing fancy. Okay, and I think usually the best art comes from just using supplies that you have, not going out and buying fancy supplies all the time. That's what's worked for me anyway. So at the top, we're gonna write pickle mermaid. And as you can see, when I make these crazy characters, unlike my fine art that has to be perfect, spot on perfect, I like to just make everything crazy, like crazy letters, mess it up as much as you can, because that's where the fun is, okay? And so we can start to ink this a little bit. So inking is when you go over your lines with a marker, and I also use a small little Sharpie as well, okay? Nothing too fancy, just fun. And so going over your lines here, making this huge eyeball, making a teeny tiny eyeball. And the reason that I make a big eyeball and a small eyeball on a lot of my characters, and I kind of messed up the placement there, so I'm going to make my hand with 3 fingers. And I'm actually going to erase. We're going to erase all these extra lines anyway, so erase that out, no problem, guys. And I like to use like a small marker, like the small Sharpie, and don't mind my hands. I've got paint in my fingernails and everything. This was kind of a last minute video today, making some movement lines. So the small lines are the small markers for smaller details like that. And then of course you can erase out those extra pencil lines in the background there. Okay, guys, you're doing good. Keep it up. And as I'm making this pickle, as I'm inking it, okay, the top part of Pickle Mermaid, I like to make, we're going to have to make like little bumps on the side because after all, it is a pickle. Little bumps on his head as we go around. Okay, maybe a bump down here. And of course, bumps all over his or her body because pickles are kind of bumpy, okay? And then we're gonna have, oh yeah, we better ink this arm down here. I like to ink the arms a little darker so you can kind of, they stand out a little bit better for you guys. And when you're done, when I make books and things, I really like to ink over my words quite a bit so they stand out more than the characters do, so you can, they're easily visible, easy to see. So here we go, we're gonna start to ink this little guy's, looks like a belt, half circle, to start the mermaid part of him or her, the tail. And then here we go, kind of a really kind of strange half circle here, another half circle, almost like a hook. And my arm just hit my desk here, so that's a little bit off, and that's okay. That's the cool thing about these crazy characters. They don't have to be perfect at all. And then we're gonna go back in with this little extra fine point Sharpie to make the detail of the tail. So remember that we just made lines going this way, tiny little lines, and I like this little dude because you can make these tiny little details that you don't want to be huge, but you just want these little details in the background that makes the tail or whatever you've got come to life a little bit. And it looks like a lot going on there. We're going to erase this when we're done, and I can just throw a finished one down just so you can kind of see a finished one. Okay. And then over here, I always have my characters say something funny, okay? So maybe this one says, yeah, I have arms, too. What about it? So this pickle mermaid has arms. Mermaids don't usually have arms, so he or she is pretty special. Coolest mermaid ever. Okay, and so then I would typically go in and erase all these extra pencil lines just to clean it up a little bit. You might want to name your pickle so you can decide if it's a girl or a boy and give it a good name. I like to do anything funny when it comes to characters, so I think I'll name mine Frank. That's kind of a funny name for a pickle mermaid. Frank the pickle mermaid. And you can have your mermaid say something different. Like mine says, yeah, I have arms too. What about it? Maybe your mermaid says, hey, let's go to the beach because it's a mermaid. Or maybe it's saying, hey, let me go to the grocery store because it's a pickle. So he probably likes both. So I always sign my name on everything. So Shawna, Lewellen, and I always put a cross on my end. I think everybody should have something that stands out about your art that makes you special and unique, okay? And it doesn't have to be anything over the top, but just like a certain way you sign your name or something about you that is a little bit different. Everybody likes to see that you're a little bit different and you have your own style and your own variety and your own taste, okay? We're gonna add a little bit of color to Frank the Pickle Mermaid. I'm actually using some neon colors here, and these are actually, I airbrush as well, and these are actually airbrush paints, and you can use whatever you like. When I paint my crazy characters, I do tend to go with bright colors because bright and bold is funny as well, okay? So we're gonna go with a little bit of, and just for time's sake, I'm just gonna actually squirt just a dot here and there on Pickle Mermaid. And this is not normally how I paint, but it's fun for characters. Just using a brush here. Nothing fancy that you can totally get at your local hardware store or Walmart or whatever. And And you know what? I say don't make it too hard. Have fun with it. Make it simple. And use what you have. Don't go out and be like, hey, Mom, Dad, hey, I need to buy all these supplies to make Pickle Mermaid. No, just totally use what you've got, okay? And I would definitely add a little more color if I had more time on that, but we're going to go in with some of the fluorescent pink for Frank's tail. Like I said, just putting it right on Frank so I can paint it on pretty quick and have fun with it. If you really wanted to have fun, you could splatter paint this baby when you're done. What is more fun than splatter painting, right? Especially if you can get away with it. I know I definitely could not do that, you know, growing up in my room or, you know, in art class. So this would be a cool time to splatter paint the background for a cool effect. And so there you have it, Pickle Mermaid. Totally fun. Good to meet you guys. I'm going to do this as often as possible, and I am actually, here I am, there's me. Yep, that's the author, Shawna Lewellen. I'm on Facebook. My crazy children's books are on Amazon. They're actually pretty cool because I have a kind of a follow along video for each book, so kids pretty much get to learn how to read. And then check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. Say hi. Don't be shy. I love hearing from you guys. Until we draw again together. See ya. Peace out.